Who do you see yourself becoming? Who do you want to become? The first one is who. And these are the questions that you have to answer for yourself. Who do you want to become? Who do you see yourself becoming? The next one is what? What are you willing to give up? What are you willing to do to become the person that you see yourself being? When you hold that vision, anybody ever did a puzzle?
No.
See, when you do a puzzle, you look at the picture on the box, and you start putting the pieces of the puzzle together. So that's the same thing as a vision. You have to be able to see it, and then once you see the picture on the box, you match the pieces of the puzzle to look like that box. The same thing a vision is. So you got to say, what are you willing to give up? When do you want to become this? You got to always set, when you set a goal, have an outcome, you have to ask yourself when. What's the time frame that you give yourself? If it takes a year to get through Job Corps, give it a year. If it takes a year and a half, give it a year and a half. But time it out. And don't make it draw out. I mean, don't make it longer than it has to be. Set your goals, set your focus. Focus on what you want out of life. Focus on the vision, the person that you want to become. Where? Where do you want to be in life? Is it Jacksonville? You got to look at life as, or the world as a big place. It's bigger than Jacksonville. It's bigger than any city that you live in. You see, I'm going to tell you what happened with a lot of people. How many people who are outside of their home city, hometown? See, I'm going to tell you, that's a pretty good number. You'd be surprised how many people have never really ventured outside of the city limits. They really don't know what the world has to offer. It's a big world. It's bigger than Jacksonville. It's bigger than Florida. It's bigger than the United States. It's so many places, so many things to see. But you can go all over the world. You're not contained to just Jacksonville. If your dream is bigger than Jacksonville, live out your dream. Move if you have to. Be like Mr. Wilson, relocate. Go to another city. Let me tell you about when you go to another city. People don't know you in that city. Life is about being able to reinvent yourself. See, when you go to a new city, new town, when nobody knows you, you can be anybody you want to be. See, it's hard to be who you want to be in your hometown. See, even Jesus couldn't perform miracles in his hometown because people would always look at him and say, hey, I know that guy. That's Joseph and Mary's son. He ain't nobody. He does the carpentry. He ain't nobody. And see, that's what people who know us will be able to hold you, sometimes hold you to that character, hold you to that person that they want you to be. But you got to break the chains. You got to be able to have the courage to, again, to live out your dream, to go outside and become the person that you want to be. That's why I like the last W. The last W is why. Why do you want to become that? Why do you want to become successful? Why is it not you that you're not going to stop until you get what you came after? See, a lot of people stop at the how. I want to be successful. I want to be famous. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a basketball player. But I don't know how. How can it happen for me? And see, people stop at the how. You got to move past the how. It's the why. The motivation is in the why. You have to ask yourself why. In the morning, you have to answer that question, why? Why am I getting out of this bed in the morning? Why am I getting out of this bed in the morning? You have a purpose. You should find that purpose. Remember those two important days. The day you was born and the day you found out why. Powerful. Gentlemen, those two things are powerful. Everybody was born. Not everybody finds out why. Not everybody finds out why. That's your only mission in life. To find your why. To find your motivation. To find what's going to drive you. To find what's going to keep on driving you. Driving you past where you thought you never could make it to. Where other people thought you could never make it. You have to find your why, gentlemen. Live out your dream. I'll bring Mr. Wilson back up and close on out. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Anybody that's older than you, even by a year, they've been there. They've been there. Anybody that's anywhere past you, anywhere past where you are, they can give you, maybe even only a little bit, but they can give you a little bit of wisdom how to get from where you are to where they are. Right? I was a football coach, Pop Warner. Started coaching when my son was little. He was like 8 or 9. His head coach asked me if I wanted to coach. I said, I don't know how to coach. I've never coached before. I was 23, 24, something like that. Or maybe a little older, I don't know. Something like that. He said, you ever played? I said, yes. He said, you think you know more than these little guys? I said, yes. He said, teach them what you know. I did it for 13 years straight. 13 years straight after that. And I learned a lot. I learned behaviors. I learned little kids' behaviors. I learned what motivates them, what doesn't. I also learned that everybody learns different. Everybody has a way of learning. I learned how some people react to losing. Everybody doesn't react to losing the same. I learned that about myself. Lost a game, one particular game in mind. The refs cheated me. I know they did. It's messed up. Couldn't sleep the whole night. Bothered me. Bothered me. One point kept me out of the playoffs from the team that just won the championship the year before. Still bothers me when I think about it. 13 years. I had a recruiter come to me from my semi-pro team. At one of our games, I didn't know him. And he asked me if I was going to come and coach these guys. And these are the semi-pro Florida Falcons. You can look them up, they're still here. And I went out there and I looked at them and I checked them out. And the first thing that came to my mind was, these guys are semi-pro. I never played past high school. What can I teach them? The first thing I began to do was doubt myself. The very first thing I began to do was doubt myself. They came to me, they asked me, they offered me a position. They obviously wanted me. Will we agree on that? I turned it down. I didn't turn it down because I doubted myself. I turned it down because this time my son was in high school and it was interfering. I was trying to be there with him in his games and blah, 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 blah. But the first thing I did when I went out there was begin to doubt myself. I went to a couple of practices, kind of met some of the guys, watched a little bit, talked some defensive strategies. Like I'm a defensive coach, talked some defensive strategies, blah, 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 blah. And to my surprise, they didn't know as much as I thought they knew, or they were just missing fine details. I'm real detailed when it comes to coaching. They were missing fine details. But the point I'm trying to make with you and telling you that is this. Telling you this. Where you are right now, it's just a small little bit of piece, of your whole life. It's just a small little piece. And the things that you guys are getting, even in this moment right now, whether you're forced to be here or whether you be here because you want to, it will help move you to the next level. It will help move you to the next level. It's nothing more disappointing to a person like myself who does genuinely care about the people I talk to, Mr. Casey, and I'm sure, what's your name now?
Miss Ladson.
Nothing more disappointing than to see people. And I listened to her, and I listened to her heart when she was saying how she does this and not for the money. To invest and then see people fall short. It's disappointing. It's disheartening. It's frustrating. It's aggravating. And the first thing that we do, I was talking to a young lady before I came in here. She's one of y'all's board people, directors. The first thing I asked her was, were we being impactful? Are we making change? Mr. Casey and I, this is strictly volunteer. I haven't even been on work yet. Strictly volunteer. We want to know, are we making changes? We want to know, are the things that we're saying impactful? We want to know that when we leave those presence, whether, and I know change isn't instant. I know this. So I I don't really expect you guys, when I come in here, honestly, I don't expect you guys to be sitting up prompted. I would love to see that. That means to me that you guys have learned a little bit about attention to detail. I would love to see it. I'm not going to tell you to it. I pretty much expect everybody to be like that. Like that. I pretty much expect that. I do, especially at this age. It's always a difference. And that one person always stands out, that gentleman right there with the glasses. I don't know his name, I don't know anything about him. He walked right up to me, excuse me, sir, how you doing? My name is Warren. Said something different about him right away. No, that's not necessary. That's not necessary. I'm just telling you, you never know who's in your presence.
That's right.
You never know who's in your presence. You never know whose presence that you're in. Now, if I was a job recruiter, if I was hiring right now, without anything being said about any of y'all, he would be the first person I'd be interested in.
First impression.
So I'm saying this to y'all to say, she was saying you guys look like you're sleepy, and when I was your ages, I would have been the same exact way. No doubt. But does that mean it's right? So we're here now looking back, just like my coach, like the coach told me. Have you ever played? Yes. Have I ever been here? Yes. Can you teach them something? Do you know more than them? Yes. How do I know more than you? Just because I've been living longer. Maybe not the same experiences. I never sold drugs. I'm not saying that you have. I'm just saying everybody have different experiences. I never shot nobody. No. I mean, I was in the military. So I'm saying to you, everybody have different experiences. The experiences that we have learned along the way gives us a right to come back and show you guys, if nothing else, how to get from where you are just to the next level. It's up to you guys to take it on. It's up to you guys to receive it. It's up to you guys. You know, I grew up in a household where my dad was very, very abusive. Not to me and my sisters. He beat my mom like she was a stranger, like a burglar. I had to get out of that atmosphere. I had to. You ever just woke up one day and looked at your mom and she looked like a totally different person because her face is so disfigured? Absolutely. Absolutely. At the age of 8, one of my goals in my life was to make sure my kids didn't grow up in that type of atmosphere. Everybody have different experiences. And sir, you're right. You have no idea how many times I wanted to pull the trigger on my dad. But that's easier said than done. Different story, different time. You don't know where people come from. You don't know what's being invested to pour into your life to just teach all this. It's for your benefit. I do gain out of this. I do. But hopefully not half as much as what you guys get. Not half as much. Not half as much. So reaching your goals, setting your goals, achieving, reaching the outcome of setting your goals, it's strictly up to you guys. It is strictly 100% up to you. This is how I personally feel. I personally feel if I can be somewhat successful to come from the environment that I came out of, I don't care what your story is. You can make it. I don't care. I'll trade stories with you guys in a minute. And I'm not saying mine is the worst. I'm just telling you what you do. But you can make it. You can make it. The only hindrance you ever have in your life is yourself. And then when you get to a certain place to where you have peace of mind, because that's what I didn't have, where you can look back and say, man, I came from this, I came from that. You get your composure together a little bit, you gotta give back. You gotta give back. And the reason why, 2 reasons. Because there's someone out there that's going through the same thing, or if not the same thing, something very similar They need your help. Second, what you sow is what you reap. What you give is what you get. What you plant is what you grow. Good or bad. So always keep that in the back of your mind. Once you reach your goal, once you get to your outcome, give it back. Give it back. Give it back. You guys are valuable. You guys are valuable. You guys have work. You guys have purpose. And I say that confidently because everybody does. Everybody does. Everybody has purpose. Everybody has value. It's just up to each individual to make that thing manifest. Whether it's a financial thing, whether it's a spiritual thing, whether it's an emotional thing. Find it and don't stop till you get there. All right? This concludes our time, but before we go, sir, you ready to run. Questions, comments? Anybody got any questions, comments, anything they'd like to say? Appreciate y'all giving us your time. See you next week, right? That's just it.
Hey, Dre, like, don't put that in.
We'll get y'all